Welcome back to Keeping BZ with Zach and Brandon. I'm Brandon, and today I'm showing Zach a Steam Next Fest demo, which is... Give him a second to work out his dance moves. Dead as Disco. This comes from a new independent developer. And this game is, well, we'll see a bit of what the gameplay is in a second. Don't worry about that stuttering. That's only just for that particular bit of loading. The game doesn't have any other issues, thankfully, because this game is about rhythm. This is, I guess the way I'll describe it to you, Zach, is this is a rhythm beat-em-up.
Oh, okay. The counter makes me think this is going to be Rhythm Arkham.
It actually is.
Oh, okay.
It is basically similar to Arkham Combat, but with, based entirely around getting to a beat. Now, the thing I like about this game, in comparison to other games that focus around you having to keep up with a rhythm, is that this is a lot more forgiving. The little QTEs that pop up there for countering and dodging, they are linked to the beat of the song, but primarily other than that, what the game does is, as you're attacking, it actually links the speed of your attacks to the speed of the song and its beats. As we're seeing right there as we do our first Fever Rush move. Which Fever Rush is, from what I get out of it, it's kind of like, it allows you to do like a super fast combo to take out an enemy super quick without having to worry about, the slow, normal, standard combo. But yes, you do a counter, then you can see that little B QTE pops up so you can do a takedown. There we go, we're taking out all of our enemies. And that pretty much wraps up the tutorial, and now we can get into the meat of what this game actually has to offer. This is a very early demo. There's only two main things we can do. You're going to see 3 screens pop up here, but the dive bar in the center is just going to take you to like a screen showing off, oh, here's what could be in this game, check this out. But instead we're going to the bottom choice, which is the Infinite Disco, which just allows us to select our song and then just, you can do this in 2 ways. You can either play until the end of that particular song, or you can set it to infinite mode and then just have the song on repeat as you just try to see how long you can last. But there's 2 grading options. One grades you if you do things infinitely and see how long you last, and another grades you on how many points and combos you can rank up by the end of the song. So we're going to see some gameplay here of me doing a couple of the songs in infinite mode before we do the other mode offered in this game, which is actually like a preview of like what one of the story missions will be like. And so, yeah, this is like a remix, I believe, of the 80s song Maniac. He's a maniac, blah, blah, blah. But we're given a bit more of a techno feel. And yeah, surprisingly, Zach, this game does not pick up on Content ID, so I guess these specific remixes are not really logged that way, which may have been an intentional choice by the developer. Though I imagine there might be, some songs in here that are licensed that may cause issues. So yeah, Zach, how are you feeling about just like the general visual style of this game?
Oh, I really like it. This game has a lot of style, and I like it makes sense that there's an 80s aesthetic, considering the name is Dead as Disco. Speaking of...
Yes. Yep, you can lose pretty fast if you're not good at countering, because that's the thing. You might be trying to focus on an enemy, but once one of those QTEs pops up, you gotta hit that with the right timing or you die. I keep what I was doing there was I was too worried about seeing an enemy about to hit me, so I went to dodge without dodging on the QTE timing with the beat. If you don't hit it to the beat, you will miss and take some damage. But it's pretty forgiving as long as you're pretty close to the middle of the circle.
I am so glad that Hi-Fi Rush brought up the genre, because, man, when you're playing Hi-Fi Rush and you hit to the beat and you hear the audience cheering for you, oh my gosh. Some of the most dopamine I've ever gotten from a video game.
Yeah, so this tries to take that and kind of put it in Arkham, though it's not like Hi-Fi Rush where your attacks are more powerful if you hit them to the beat and you have to like, hit a combo with certain timing. Here it's just about, getting those QTEs in the right motion. And you'll know if you really knocked out a QTE because that's when he does that little like afterglow effect where there's all those after images of him. Now, the other thing that makes this game super cool, Zach, you can actually, even in this demo, you can import your own songs into the song list and actually have the game sync up to the beat of whatever song you pick. So I did test that out earlier. You're not going to see any of that in this video, but you can. Now, the only thing with that is that in order to really get it to work right and the game to sync up well with the flow of your music, there is like a beats per minute calibrator that you have to mess around with to try to get it synced up just right to flow right with the song. But, sometimes then it can also depend on if the song itself really fits the game.
I've played quite a few games that have a way to import music. Beat Hazard is a game I used to be obsessed with back in the PS3 era. That one's a shooter type of game. Like, think of Asteroids, but like modern for PS3. Okay. And in that game, you would put in your own music, and then enemies would come out to the beat. And then there's on PS1 Bib Ribbon, where you could put in a music CD, and then the game will generate like a rhythm level based on it.
Right. Yeah, I also think of like, yeah, you were saying like with VR you got like Beat Saber, of course, is super popular.
Oh yeah, Beat Saber. Crypt of the Necrodancer is another one I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that game has a feature like that. I can never get past like one level of Crypt of the Necrodancer, so I wouldn't even bother with that kind of mode.
I have not beaten the first boss yet, I think.
But that's what I like about Dead as Disco, is that it's not as punishing for not constantly being able to keep your rhythm up. Here it's just like, yeah, you can screw up a few times, but it's not necessarily about constantly punishing the player if they can't get constantly on the beat at all times. Here it's about like the game is kind of auto-syncing some of the rhythm, and you're just needing to like hit the QTEs as they pop up. And then he'll like, and whenever he attacks or does a takedown, he'll sync his hits to the beat. Like this. Yep. And I believe this is the last song I do, and then after this, I'll show off one of the real levels in the game. Oh, and am I going to do one more? No, I think I'm here. I'm just showing off some of the other songs before we get to the main level. And there's a little import song on the top. You hit that, and then it literally just pops up a window. You choose a song from your files, and the game just puts it in it. So we're going to go back to Stage Select and go to Hemlock, which is... It warns you... Okay, this is what I was talking about, that this is just showing off, oh yeah, look, here's what the game could have. Also, once we complete the demo, it will play a little video showing off concepts of what the full game will be like. But yeah, this is in pre-alpha, so you're going to see the game, the graphics get a little bit muddy as we get deeper into the level. But now we're going to get a taste of what an actual level in the story of Dead as Disco is going to look like. Oh yes, we're playing as Charlie Disco. So far, pretty standard, but you'll see how it changes as we get deeper in. And as long as you can keep your rhythm up, you'll easily, transition to each section of the level. But already, this is showing to me a lot of potential of what this game could be as it starts putting more gimmicks in. Like, I imagine you're going to be able to have a greater arrangement of what moves you can do in the final game that aren't just going to be dodges and counters, which I think would immediately get repetitive super fast, despite how good the presentation and music choices are. We're also going to see some different types of QTEs here. Like you're going to see like a counter with a skull next to it, and if you're able to hit that, you do like a really special counter that takes down the enemy instantly and also gets you a free takedown move. Kind of like when you hit a certain combo in the Arkham games. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Yeah, now it's getting more into the stylish flavor, because that's kind of like what looks like the main levels are. Is that as you're fighting, it's like cycling through different environments and lighting styles and gimmicks that you'll have to do. You know, just to fit more with the feel of the song. And here we go. So now we have to fight enemies while also paying attention, because there will be subway cars running back and forth across the road, and we will get smashed even if we're in the middle of like a counter. Because otherwise, if you do a counter in this game, like in Batman Arkham, the enemies will not hit you while you're doing a counter. They're nice about it.
Resident Evil 6 has ruined subways in video games for me.
Yeah, not giving you a 5-second warning before an instant death subway hits you. Yeah, I think that would suck in any video game. So,
I mean, this game has a big glowing thing on the track just to be like, "Hey, don't stand there."
Yep, and it gives you a lot of time to get right out of the way like that. And that's what I like to do sometimes, is just see how long I can last until I dodge right out of the way. And now here's our transition. And now we're on a subway fighting enemies like in a classic beat 'em up. Even has the classic go thing from a beat 'em up, which makes me curious to see what other type of aesthetics this game will attempt to do aside from, you know, doing little beat 'em up homages. Because this is a very final fight. That's one thing I liked a lot about Streets of Rage 4 that a lot of people didn't seem to like about it, was that the soundtrack in Streets of Rage 4 was designed to sync with the situation of the gameplay. As you get into different sections of the level, the music is one long track that transitions between different tracks. So this is the introduction to our boss act, but unfortunately this is the end of the demo. And as you can tell, that was probably a pretty early little animatic of what's going to be coming once you get through into a deeper part of the level. So here's a little look at like what's going to be in Dead as Disco. We're going to have some boss fights. Yeah, it looks like you'll be going up against what are called the 7 idols, who are all the different main enemies. I'm sure they're also 7 evil X's as well. But it's implied that Charlie our main character, is dead, so maybe he's fighting his way back to the living world or something. Yeah, we're gonna get some different stylistic choices. We're out here in like a black and white level. So I'm curious to see. My main concern with this game is seeing how it keeps up the variety, both in the different move sets and in the different levels, to keep it from getting repetitive. Because as cool as the aesthetic is, as cool as the music is, as cool as the way it syncs the beat and look of all these other features like being able to customize your character, I think that I'm curious to see how the final product will ultimately be. And how much they'll allow you to customize, putting in your own custom stuff. So that's Dead as Disco. You can wishlist it now on Steam. And yeah, I recommend giving it a shot to you listening as well as Zach. Give it a shot. Try putting in some of your own songs and seeing how well they sync up with the beat and try to get good scores in it. That's it. Like, it's a simple, short demo, about 15 minutes, but it has already a lot of content, especially if you're doing the infinite mode, to mess around with. So give Dead as Disco a shot. And that wraps up this edition of Keeping BZ. Thank you, Zach, for listening to me talk for 15 minutes while you say nothing. And everybody else have a good night.